Oh, what a lovely fall day. Let's see where we want to go. Oh, that wind. That wind was not fun. Hello. Welcome. We're riding around for a little bit before we get to the meat and potatoes of the video. It is now about fall in Pullman, Washington. There's a police officer. Oh, that's a... What is that? BMW. It is almost fall in Pullman, Washington. It is fall. It's been fall. But it's finally getting cold. We have high temperatures in the 30s next week. We have low temperatures in the 20s next week. If you're a Celsius fan, in the single digits to the negative singles. Please don't. Okay, well, you didn't have that turn. And it's getting cold. Those of you that don't know, I've had a video on it way back when. Honestly, before I started posting Navi content and before anyone actually watched my videos. I commute about 11 months out of the year, at least. Basically, if there's not snow on the ground, I am probably riding. And even sometimes if there is snow on the ground, I am probably riding. Unless it's like actively precipitating, I'm probably on the motorcycle commuting. This is my main one. This is my 2010 BMW F800 GS that I've spent a lot of time working into a respectable fall and winter commuter. The tires I have on here are Dunlop Trail Max Missions. They are not snow tires, but if it's any kind of just like slush, they're usually pretty good. I have a little bit taller windscreen. I am wearing pretty windproof gloves. I would not call them winter gloves, specifically because I have hippo hands, which block the need for really any kind of extra thick insulation. The hippo hands do an amazing job of blocking all the wind. I have heated grips underneath. I have a heated seat. There's a little button right here for it. That I currently broke, but I have a replacement sitting in my garage that I need to put in. That keeps my tushy warm. I have some little air deflectors that go on the side that should keep my legs a little bit warmer once I put those in. I am waiting to get those from BMW, which surprised me that it's a direct fit part straight from BMW for a bike that's 12 years old at this point. But the newest thing that I have that I'm really excited about is a heated vest. Kemimoto, who you may remember worked with me a little bit on the Navi before, and even before they worked with me, I had their universal tail tidy that that I bought with my own monies. But they wanted to send me an electric vest and get my thoughts on it and see how I liked it. And I've been wearing it for about a week now. I have it on right now. And it is quite nice. It is just that little extra bit of warm that I've been wanting on these 30 and 40 and even right now 55 degrees. This little extra bit of warmth is phenomenal. We'll get into the specifics of it more a little bit later on, but it has 8 different heating zones, each of which can do 3 different temperatures. And you can control it separately, front and back. So it's a total of, I think, 9 different settings. It runs off of a USB battery bank, which was not included. So if you don't have one, that's a little bit of extra cost that you're factoring in. But I did happen to have one, and it's nice because it's such a universal item that you aren't tied to one specific battery and you're not tied to a wire. Inside of it is super velvety and plush and soft. It's fantastic. It's machine washable on cold. I wouldn't dry it, but that's just me. It has been very nice. I've been wearing it, like I said, for the last week, commuting, and I have a 10,000 milliamp hour battery that I've used about a third of on my commute, so I still have plenty of life left in that. I theorize, I haven't tried it yet, I theorize I can use, let's see if I can do this. I have this little SAE cord going here. I have an extension for it, and I have a USB adapter for it. So in theory, I could plug that into this vest and get unlimited power. Okay, maybe not unlimited, but I wouldn't have to worry about a battery at that point. Yeah, that's my intro. We're riding around. Like I said, it's going to be in the 20s and 30s next week. I go to work at 8 in the morning right when the sun's coming up, so it is dreary and cold. But it's worth it. I pay $80 a year for a parking permit compared to like $400 or $500 if I was to take my 4Runner in. Don't get me started on parking and paying for parking as an employee. It is silly, but it is what it is. Let's see, this seems like a good time to cut it. We are gonna head back to the garage, and I will show you this mythical, wonderful vest that I am talking about, and we'll go over a little bit more of the specifics about it. Alright, I will see y'all when we get there. Alright, we are back in the garage. Time to shed some gear. Like I said, I normally wear my snowboarding jacket, not really armored, but it does a good job of keeping wind out of my body. And under it, we have our vest. There are 4 heating zones on the front, so right here, kind of over your ab or pocket area, some up on your upper chest. Oops, I hit a button. There are ones kind of back on your shoulder blades, and then more in like a kidney area as well. So 8 total zones. A lot of the ones I looked at kind of had, 2 here and 2 in your lower back. So it's nice to see just a little bit more heat spread out overall. Your control buttons are up here. So red is hot, white is medium, blue is cool. And you can do the front and the back separately. So if you're sitting in a seat and your back's getting a little warm, you can turn that separate. Then the front, which is nice, hold both of them down and it turns on or off. Hold them both down, it turns on, and then it'll do this flashing red. Let's see if I can't get in on that. There we go. That means it's preheating. Once it's done preheating and warming up, it'll go to solid white, and then you can adjust it from there to heat it back up or do whatever you want. The inside of it's extremely cozy. It's almost like a velvety, very soft material, super comfy. Like I said on the ride earlier, one of the things I wish I would have done is gotten a large instead of an extra large. It fits, it's a little loose, and with how these heating pads kind of work, you really want it to be like a nice snug fit. You can see I have good 4 or 5 inches there. So I'm about 6'2". I have a pretty long torso, about 230 pounds. Been working on my beer belly a little bit. And I ordered an extra large, probably should have gotten a large. The sizing chart that I saw on Amazon actually recommended a large for me, but I'm used to larges not fitting, so I sized up one. I would say go with what the sizing chart says. Let's talk some more about this. So from the front, actually looks pretty clean. I like this almost rubberized cross hatchet on there. I think it looks pretty cool. It has preheated again since I just turned it off earlier. In the front left pocket is your USB cable. I had this battery bank before, and battery banks are something I want to talk about with this. It does not come with a battery. This is the one I previously owned. This one is rated at 13,000 milliamp hours at 3.7 volts. USB is 5 volts, so that puts it at about 9,900 milliamp hours at 5 volts, which is what USB uses. The USB connector, this one is rated at 2.1 amps, and that's what Kemimoto's eBay or Amazon listing is saying that it's pulling for power. So 2.1 amps times 5 volts gives you about that 10 watt power use that the vest is actually consuming when it's on. So this about 10,000 milliamp hour at 5 volt battery bank should give me about 4.5 hours of power when I'm using it. My commute is all of about 10 minutes, so this one battery should last me quite a long time. It's kind of bulky. I might buy probably a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. That should easily last me a week of commutes without recharging it. So, and that's with it on high. With it on low, I don't have any kind of watt meter to measure what it would look like on low, but I've been happy running it on high and haven't been cooked out of my jacket or anything like that. So that's the battery bank. It is nice that it's USB, so you can swap it out. You can use your own. You can put a smaller one if you want to run a smaller length of time. You can put a bigger one if you want to run a longer length of time. My wife has a 20,000 milliamp hour battery that could last me 9 hours easily, if not more, if I was going on a long trip or a multi-day trip or something like that. One of the things that I want to try on this bike in particular is I have a SAE lead coming off of the battery that converts to a USB port. And so I want to try if I extend that lead and plug it into the USB port and then plug it into here and power it off my bike, then I don't even have to worry about a battery bank. However, that kind of gets rid of one of the biggest perks of this is you aren't attached to a wire. Your battery's in your pocket, you aren't attached to the bike, you don't have to worry about forgetting to unplug yourself when you get off the bike, that sort of thing. So compared to some other wireless vests, I know like Gerbing or even some of the power tool manufacturers, DeWalt or Makita in particular comes to mind. They have battery powered vests that run at 7.2 volts. They have ones at 9.6 volts. They have 18 volt, 12 volt, whatever. None of those, all of those, you're tied to a specific battery. With this vest and it being run off of just a USB, you can use really whatever battery bank you have. And going back to what I said earlier, a big one, a small one, a huge one, you can run it off of your bike. In theory, you know, it's a little bit more flexible having it based off USB. Trade-off for that though is you're getting 10 watts of heat. I'm hoping this will work. So based on what I was saying earlier about you really want this touching your skin as much as possible, I have a little infrared heater and it's popping about 99 degrees there. That one's about 91. Ooh, 102 on that one. You get a good amount of heat, but at 10 watts, it's not going to heat up the air. You really want this fitting tight against your shirt or against a thermal shirt if you have that and are wearing that. You really want it up against you as much as possible. Ooh, these shoulder blade ones are nice and toasty. Let's put this back in the pocket. Apparently the earlier versions just kind of had a slip-in pocket. This one has zippers that are pretty good. They look like they're almost waterproofed. I doubt they're actually waterproof, but they have a little bit of a coating to at least make them water resistant, I'm sure. Speaking of water, this is washable. Kemimoto recommends putting it in like a mesh delicates bag first, but it is washable. I probably wouldn't, let's see. Machine wash cold, do not dry clean, do not wring or twist, do not iron. So yeah, I would, if it got stinky, I'd wrap it up in a mesh bag so it doesn't fold all over itself or anything weird like that. We said there's 8 heating zones before, so here and here on the pockets. There's one's kind of over your kidneys, One's over your shoulder blades, and then one's up here, kind of over your pecs. It's really nice and soft. It feels kind of nice. You can feel a little bit of the wires running through it. When it's on you, I haven't noticed them, but when I'm like just holding it, I'm like, oh, there's a wire there. But it's I've been happy with it. Granted, you know, I didn't have to pay for it, and Kemimoto agreed to work with me on it, but they didn't tell me I needed to say anything positive about it. It just, for its purposes, I think it works well. If you're like me, where maybe you're a commuter, or you're just a really cold person, or you have kids in sports where you're sitting outside at a football field all night, or, you know, things where you have a fairly, you're just a little chilly, you just want to be a little bit warmer, I think this will work really well for most people. Situations where it might not work as great, if I were touring across the US and it was below freezing the whole time, I would probably want a little bit more wattage. But for me, where it's 45 degrees out and it's just a little bit on the chilly side, this is a nice little extra bit of heat. I found myself wearing it out in the garage. It's 61 degrees in here, and I'm probably gonna put it back on once we finish wrapping this video. And it's just a little bit extra, and it's nice. Like I said, if you're in between sizes, I would say order down a size. You do want it to fit snug. This one's a little big on me. Once I put my jacket on and zip it back up, that helps snug it back up, and it works great then, but it'd be nice if it was kind of jacket agnostic a little bit. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the Kemimoto heated vest, the USB heated vest. It's a pretty cool little thing. USB's come a long way. Heating pads have come a long way. It's amazing what they've done with 10 watts of power. So, hope you enjoyed this. Coming down the pipeline a little bit, I have new hippo hands coming. I don't know if that was in the shot or not. I have a pair of the backcountry ones, or the Alcan, second generation Alcan model on there now, and I have a third generation backcountry coming. So I'm excited for those. And it's gonna be freezing next week, so couldn't come nearly fast enough. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you to Kemimoto for working with me again on this. Yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Just gonna drink my coffee now.